If you can do just a little bit of all four of those things and do it on a regular, consistent basis, you will start to whittle away those man boobs. Hey guys, Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic. How about we talk about moobs today? So what is a moob anyway? It's a man boob, right? We don't want them. It's not a good look. Muscular, big pecs is what we want, but not big, soft, fluffy man boobs. So how the hell do we get rid of them? Well, I have four kind of high-level tips today for you. But before I get to those tips, I want to kind of explain, what causes man boobs. And I'm going to break it into two main categories. There's basically too much fat and or a hormone imbalance. All right, so if we put on too much fat, we tend to store it around our waist as men, but we also kind of store it everywhere else, in our face, in our back, chest area, and it depends on just your personal genetics. Some guys just naturally store more body fat up around their chest than other guys, and that's a potential cause of a moob. Now, the other potential cause is a hormone imbalance, and that can be not enough testosterone or too much estrogen. Yes, guys do have estrogen. So men typically have about 10 times as much testosterone as women do, but we have way, way, way less estrogen than women, but we do need some. And, of course, the opposite is true for women. So if that hormone balance gets out of whack in guys, it can cause us to hold on to fat in the chest area, okay? So anyway, 4 high-level tips today about what we can do about that. And then guys, as far as that hormonal imbalance is concerned, well, man, there's all kinds of things that can affect that. And a lot of them are kind of medication related. So let me try to rattle off a few here. I'm trying to memorize them. So sometimes your ADHD meds, if you're on those, some of those can cause man boobs. Some types of antidepressant medications, some types of antibiotics, even some types of chemotherapy medicines can cause man boobs. Heart medications. Now, not all of your heart medications, but some do. So anyway, there's all kinds of stuff. Prostate medications. Anyway, there's lots of different types of medications that can potentially throw off your hormones. All right, so there's lots of different reasons. Some of those reasons are just basically we're putting on too much body fat. Other reasons are caused by hormone imbalances. And let's talk about 4 tips that can address both potential causes. All right, so tip number 1, guys, let's talk about this. And that is I'm going to talk about it from a real high level, and is the best way to lose man boobs is to just lose a lot of excess body fat. Now, if you're only 10 pounds overweight, that's not going to be your problem. But most of the guys with man boobs, we're talking they're 40, 50, 60 pounds overweight, maybe more, okay? And so just saying lose fat is not enough, okay? So instead of talking about all the different ways we can lose fat, let me just focus on probably the easiest and biggest problem when it comes to putting on fat, and that's the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and that is sugar, okay? And when I say sugar, I'm talking about refined sugar and also highly processed carbs. I know those are slightly different, but let's just kind of lump them together real quick. So, highly processed sugar, a lot of guys think about as, that white granular stuff that you put your teaspoon in, and you dip it and then you dump it in your coffee or your tea. All right, so that's just one type of processed sugar, all right? There's lots of other refined sugars out there, and typically they're concentrated liquids. I mean, they come in things like, your soft drinks, all right? They come in not just soft drinks, so like Coca-Cola, it's got a ton of refined sugar in it, but also your coffee. And I'm not just talking about you guys that go get plain old coffee and put a little cream in there, or even just a little teaspoon of sugar. That's no big deal. It's when you go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and you order those crazy frappuccinos, those real sweet drinks, okay? Those actually have more refined sugar in them than a plain old, 12-ounce can of Coca-Cola. And not only do they have more refined sugar, a lot of those have got twice as many calories because they got a ton of fat in there also. So when I'm talking about the 100-pound gorilla, I'm talking mainly just about carbohydrates today, and I'm talking about the super concentrated sugars that we just get in our foods, things like processed carbs, in addition to those real sugary sweet carbs that I was just mentioning. So what are these processed carbs that you guys really need to avoid? And it's pretty straightforward, okay? So pasta, a highly refined carbohydrate, bread, some of your cereals are that way. Pizza, man, the pizza dough is terrible for you. And then, of course, the sweet, foods like desserts and cakes and ice creams and things like that. So that's a whole big, giant group of foods that you guys can easily cut out of your daily diet, all right? All that will make a gigantic impact on reducing calories on a daily basis and losing fat. That is the easy 800-pound gorilla to just kill. There's lots of other ways to lose fat, okay? But that is the most straightforward way and the most productive thing you can do. Okay, so number 2, all right, completely different from the fat problem that I talked about earlier. Number 2 is more of a hormone-induced problem, all right? And that is, guys, I want you to at least give this a try. We have created a supplement. It's a greens powder. It's been unbelievably popular, okay? It's called Testo Greens. Now, guys, this is designed specifically for men and specifically for helping support healthy hormone balances between our testosterone and our estrogen levels. Now, remember, you got to have both. All right, we want high T levels and we want moderate amounts of estrogen. And so the ingredients in this are designed to help keep that in a healthy balance. And especially if we're producing too much estrogen, for whatever reason, it could be because of some of those drugs I was talking about earlier, it helps to minimize excess estrogen. So there's 34 different veggies and fruits in Testo Greens, but there's also over a dozen other things in there, probiotics and antioxidants and mushrooms and herbs and all kinds of other things. And so this is what I want you to do, because I can't remember all the ingredients. I don't even try. There's just too many. Click the link below this video, and it'll take you to our website where it talks about Testo Greens. Just spend 60 seconds. Just peruse through it. But most importantly, I want you to go to the very bottom, okay, below the area where it talks about the product, and go to all the customer reviews. Guys, those are real customer reviews, all right? I was just checking this out before I shot this video. 90% of the reviews are 5 stars out of 5 stars. All right, 9% are 4 stars out of 5 stars. So 99% are either 4 or 5, almost all of them being 5 stars. So obviously it's working for a ton of guys out there. And the thing is, it's really a risk-free suggestion, I'm telling you. And it's super simple. I mean, you just take a scoop of this once a day and you're done. All right, doesn't get any easier than that. Tip number 1, it's a lot harder to cut out all those refined sugars and refined carbohydrates, okay, processed carbs. This is the easiest of the 4 tips today. So please give it a try. If it doesn't work, I get it. It doesn't work for everybody. Supplements just don't work for everybody. Some guys have got, really good on-point nutrition already. Some guys don't have issues, with their hormone imbalance. You're not going to see a big benefit. But for the majority of guys, I promise you'll like it. And if it doesn't, let us know. We promise we will refund your money. So it's a no-risk trial. All right, tip number 3 is a little different. At least we're getting away from that other stuff. And that is, guys, you got to build a chest. All right, it will help get rid of those man boobs if you build a lot of muscle underneath, okay, those man boobs. Now, even if you build muscle and you don't get rid of that fat, you won't be able to see it. But building a big chest will help that process. And so it's a lot easier said than done, right? But when it comes to building your chest, that's a big muscle group. A lot of the exercises you're going to be doing are compound movements, all right? You're going to be using multiple muscle groups, multiple joints at the same time, which is great because those types of exercises actually help support our testosterone levels. It helps trigger signals in our brain to ramp up testosterone, all right? But there's tons of different exercises, but guys, it's not just doing the exercises and kind of checking it off. It's the intensity and it's the dedication. It's the consistency. You have to push yourself. Doing chest is not easy. It's a big muscle group. You get tired, and when you push yourself hard, you build up a lot of lactic acid. That's painful just in the short term. But you have to push yourself hard, and you have to know what types of exercises to do. There's a ton of them out there, and how often to do them, how hard to push yourself, how many sets to do, how many reps to do. All right, this video is not going to get into the details. All right, we got tons of other videos that Gary and I have shot on this YouTube channel, so check those out. But building a big chest will definitely help get rid of those moobs. All right, the fourth one and the final one, I'm sure you're glad to hear, is not as much fun as some of the other ones, but guys, it concerns alcohol consumption. You've seen a lot of my videos. I got my bar in the background behind me when I'm doing these workouts with these dumbbells, all right? So I am not some mean ogre trainer that is going to tell you to never touch alcohol. I drink alcohol. You can too, but you got to keep it to a reasonable amount, all right? When I say reasonable amount, once or twice a week. And make sure it's for a reason, all right? So many of you guys come home every single night after work and have 2, 3, 4 glasses of wine with your wife or your girlfriend or just by yourself simply because you're still alive at the end of the day. Just because you made it home, okay? That's not a good enough reason to celebrate with 3 or 4 glasses of alcohol, whether it's wine or vodka, or I don't care, or beer, doesn't matter, all right? Save it for an occasion. Hey, we're going out to dinner. We're going to have 2 glasses of wine with dinner. It's like date night. Hey, I got a buddy coming over. We're going to watch the football game. I'll have a couple of beers, all right? Those are great reasons to have some alcohol and a good time. But just surviving the day and coming home, think about that. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday is work related. And then, you have drinks every single night just because you got home. And then guess what? It's Saturday and Sunday. You got to have even more alcohol to celebrate the fact that it's a weekend and you don't have to wake up early the next day. Guys, that adds up. And why is that a problem? It's not just the calories, the empty calories in the alcohol. Alcohol has ethanol in it, okay? And ethanol disrupts the synthesis of testosterone. It screws up that whole process. It can also increase the production of estrogen in our bodies. So it's when you're drinking alcohol, you're not just consuming worthless calories, all right, that your body can't use. You're actually screwing up your hormones. A couple of drinks doesn't do it, but day in and day out, that will do it. And I guarantee you, these serious bodybuilder guys, all right, and I'm not talking about the giant, Mr. Olympia, but I'm talking about guys that are really ripped and look fantastic and kind of compete, amateur. Those guys are terrified of alcohol because every little bit, all right, of muscle growth and testosterone is important to those guys. And they won't touch that stuff, all right? They are just terrified of it. That's how serious it is when it comes to potentially suppressing your testosterone and or increasing your estrogen. Alcohol is not your friend. All right, guys, 4 just real high-level tips. All right, you don't have to be perfect about all these things, but if you can do just a little bit of all 4 of those things and do it on a regular, consistent basis, you will start to whittle away those man boobs. I promise it will work, but you have to stick with it and never give up on yourself.